Nerdcast assemble! Stay dandy, baby.
But let's go ahead and segue into One Piece. And we're going to be actually talking about two chapters here.
Wano
we
Piece?
have one that came out on Sunday and the one that just came out today.
Wano Piece.
And basically, it's like the big final moment for Oden Kozuki, which was...
his middle name's Tempura.
Anywho, the point is Oden Tempura is like got one of those classic moments in One Piece series where a character dies for what he believes in and does it in a really badass fashion. He dies with a smile on his face, which isn't the first time we've seen something like that in the series. Think Gol Roger, think freaking Whitebeard. That's exactly what's going on with this character, and man, he went out like a boss. And again, it's another one of those like anime manga things where you have to just say, there's no way that any human could potentially survive what he went through, but at the same time, it's still pretty freaking cool.
They also have Devil Fruit powers and all sorts of ridiculous
But that's what's
stuff.
also unique about Oden.
Yeah.
He's just a human.
He's Zoro.
You know, there's nothing really all that special about his character outside of the fact that he's just really strong and absolutely insane.
To me,
and can
he's
somehow survive being in boiling oil for over an hour.
He's very much like if you combined Luffy and Zoro into a person that had a Japanese art style. You know, like that's essentially who Oden is in my mind. I'm simplifying it. He had much different traits. He had a much different story to get to where he was than those two characters. But at the same time, I just in a large sense, I really liked this chapter. I thought it was a good wrap up. I like that they got to the end of Oden's story so we can get back to present time. And I thought he went out like a boss, and he, you know, I thought it was kind of, if I had one critique, like I'm reaching, I didn't really like that he got shot in the face. That's how he got killed, and then he collapsed into the oil. You know, I thought that was kind of fucked up way to go. I'm sorry for the language, guys.
Fuck. Screw the language.
There are kids watching, Corey.
Fuck the kids.
That's... Be careful.
I'm just quoting Michael Jordan here.
Michael Jackson?
I actually really, you know, I know you didn't like Oden being killed by just being ultimately shot at the end. I actually thought that it was kind of symbolic. In a sense, and in a very weird sense. So,
did he scream freedom while he died, or was that a different thing?
No, that's Mel Gibson.
Okay.
No, what I really liked about it is how basically I think him getting shot in the head is sort of symbolic of how the Wano Kingdom and how the progression of time has actually changed in the series. Whereas before, Wano was seen as sort of like this classical Japanese-styled kingdom where things were done in the old ways. The way of the sword, the way of being executed in certain ways, being boiled in oil. And as soon as Oden's time ends, he gets killed by the modern day of technology and change, which is getting shot in the head by a gun. That's the way that it's literally the progression of time.
I never thought of it that way. That's pretty symbolic. I think you're pretty cool commentary on that.
That's what I thought when I was like, oh, this is like, you know, it's not just him getting shot in the head. That's just the way that I was actually viewing it. But before we actually jump into some of the bigger details of the chapter, just a quick breakdown. This is a really simple couple of chapters. It's Oden and his entire crew are getting ready to be boiled in a massive vat of oil, and Oden goes in second. There's this one guy that they just toss in immediately into the deep fryer, and he just like jumps out, and he's just completely fried to a freaking crisp.
Yeah.
Any other normal human would do that. Oden just gets in and looks like he's getting into a fucking hot tub, which is insane, and he's just taking the pain the entire time. And his loophole around actually saving all of his friends is that they're all standing on a massive wooden plank that he's holding up the entire time while his body is just getting completely wrecked by all of this burning oil. And he basically makes this declaration that if he's able to sort of withstand this for up an hour, his friends can go free and that Wano Kingdom is going to be opened up to the people.
Yes.
This is a really huge deal. And eventually gets to a point where he makes it an hour, he somehow is still alive, and Orochi's like, you know what, I've changed the execution, we're just going to shoot your ass. So Oden decides to throw all of them off of the giant boiling pot, and they all end up running away, meeting up with his wife, who's eventually going to send them into the future. The big details of this chapter is the big moment where Oden is talking about the fact that in 20 years from now, a massive war is going to take place, which is probably what's about to be going down in Wano right here. But he also mentions that there is someone who's going to make an appearance, someone from 800 years ago. Now, this has been the biggest debate that everyone has been talking about. Who is Oden referring to? Now, the obvious answer here could very well be Joy Boy.
Yeah, comes
Could
back.
we
Yeah.
somehow be seeing the return of this character? What is the significance of someone from 800 years ago? Is it just a mistranslation? What's going on here? What the fuck is Oden talking about?
He also might just be talking about one of the weapons coming to...
Very well could be.
The weapons could be a person, though. You know, we know the one, is it the Poseidon, the ability to control the sea?
Yeah,
sea
that's
things?
Shirahoshi. Shirahoshi.
Shirahoshi, the goldfish princess. Yeah, so it could be another weapon. It could be a person. It's hard to say human in that series. It's like, human-ish person. Who knows what that is? The lore of One Piece is so good at coming out slowly. Slow burn.
But it seems like this arc has really been pulling the curtain back on a lot of things.
Well, they got to.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think One Piece is done in 5 years or less. Like I think it's going to get wrapped up.
I
soon.
want to say 5 years, but who knows? It could go on for another 10.
Yeah. And I don't know too much about the lore. I feel like you probably know more than I do, Corey, on that topic. But at the same time, I feel like I enjoyed this chapter. And again, I'm glad we're getting back to the present because I like Oden, but he's also gone. And I want to see the Straw Hats progress.
Exactly.
But, One Piece is damn good at taking you on journeys and making you care about the new characters, So it's not that crazy that we got such a deep backstory on this. But I'm ready for the next chapter.
Yeah.
I want to see it back.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm ready too, but I really enjoyed this backstory of Oden. At first, it wasn't gelling with me all that much. And then I just started reading them in succession. I was like, okay, this is actually kind of interesting. Especially because like I said, Oden's backstory is ultimately tied to the revelation of what One Piece is and how this is all going to tie into Joy Boy and his treasure. Wano Kingdom is slowly becoming, I think, one of the best arcs of the series and kind of feels like a real classic arc of One Piece, in my opinion. I don't know how much longer it's going to go.
There have been so many arcs in One Piece. And there's so many good ones, like Impel Down or the...
I mean, everybody loves
spooky,
CP9.
CP9. What's the spooky arc? I forget that one.
Thriller Bark.
Thriller Bark.
I thought Thriller Bark was a little long-winded. Maybe in the anime version.
I'll tell you, I think it took a while to get serious.
Yeah.
That was the thing. But I love Luffy stuffing the zombies back in the ground, like all that shit. Like that's like core One Piece to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's getting serious and everyone's gonna have big fights and the power levels are gonna get crazy big and and
I was kind of hoping this backstory would maybe delve a little bit more into Kaido, but I still have a feeling that's probably coming later.
As he's getting punched by a Gatling gun, we'll get a cutaway back to his back.
This will suddenly flash back to Kaido's backstory about how he became the man that he is today.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we'll get to see maybe his backstory of being one of the Rocks pirates, of being a crew member along Whitebeard. All that stuff I think is going to be really cool. But ultimately, I think Oden's backstory worked. It's.
I'm also getting pumped about the dragon guy with the Logia fruit getting defeated, Orochi.
Yes, the Hydra Man.
The Hydra Man. I'm excited about him getting defeated.
Orochi.
Because he's just
both him
kind of
and Kaido used dragon forms.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But one uses more of a
the multi-headed,
and one's a traditional dragon.
They also, just mentioning Orochi again. They actually do a pretty good job of actually making him feel a little more developed in this chapter, because before he was just kind of like a little asshole who didn't really seem there was much to his character outside of just being, a big dick. In this chapter, we actually get to learn he actually has motivation for his revenge.
Yes.
It's because his family was actually screwed over years ago, and they were actually murdered and taken away from him. So it's just this, this endless cycle of bullshit, and that's like one of the reasons that's caused him to want to sort of like take over the Wano Kingdom and to sort of like basically get revenge not just against the people who are his enemies, but the entire country itself, which is why he has such a tight grip on it. Why Kaido allows this guy to do this outside of the fact that he probably just doesn't want to deal with running a country is beyond me.
Yeah, it is interesting. Why has he earned the right to be the guy that's in charge of this island? Maybe it's just Kaido thinks, hey, he's good enough for now, and I get to just come around and do what I want. I get what I want when I'm around.
He doesn't have to do the paperwork. Orochi does.
Yeah, so it's an interesting like current situation with this arc, and like I said, I'm just ready to get back to the new stuff. Ready for the next chapter. Yeah, and also. I like all the people that they've developed, like not Orochi, Oden's like crew. Now that we know them, we're seeing them in flashbacks. I think they're all really interesting.
I loved that scene in the chapter where, as they're being thrown away by Oden, they take the time to like show like a key moment in each of those person's lives where Oden has sort of helped them or influenced them in some way. It really shows like what sort of like a stand-up guy he really is.
Yep. Stand up in oil.
Yeah. That was brutal, man.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly,
It was
like the previous chapter before the one that just came out today, that opening scene where they toss that guy into the oil and then he just comes out like a fucking crispy mummified corpse, like that was fucked up by One Piece standards. Like
Yeah.
that was really genuinely kind of disturbing. And you know, physically Oden should not have even been able to survive that for like even just a couple of minutes. Like his entire body would have like crumbled on itself
Like
of how it was getting cooked.
when you fry chicken or something, it only takes like 8 minutes. Or
Yeah.
like 5 minutes. It doesn't take long. to cook
No.
food
And I mean, yes, he's a giant muscular human body, but
He's made of
man,
flesh.
after 30 minutes, that dude's going to be like a pretzel stick just breaking in half.
Yeah, but if he used hockey, see now we're getting into all that weird shit. If he used hockey, could he coat his legs in hockey and it doesn't hurt as much? Or
Yeah, I mean, there is
who
that
knows?
potential.
I don't know the answer to any of that.
The worst that happened is he got a couple of bloody noses. Like, that was about as bad as it got. But still, like I said, dude went out like a boss, smiling the entire time. I thought that was pretty damn cool.
So what about rating for this chapter? I think it's an emotional chapter.
For
It's a
both
good
chapters.
one. Yeah.
It's weird because, you know, the reviewer and me liked both of these chapters. I felt like there was a lot of just, maybe this could have been condensed into a single chapter, or maybe that would have taken away from some of the emotional impact, because there's a lot going on here. You know, it's not just Oden boiling in oil. It's his crew members. It's his actual death scene. It's the moment of Shinobu actually deciding that she's not going to be a part of that ninja group anymore and that she's siding with Oden at this point officially. There's a lot of little elements here. Even just the ending with his wife getting ready to use her abilities to send everyone into the future. Like, there's a lot of layers to this chapter despite the fact that it's just Oden dying.
Yeah. This is setting into motion the current situation.
You know, out of a 10, I'd give both of them like a 9.
Yeah. Okay. I
Or
like
4 out of 5, you know?
I agree. They're good.
Anything I don't like is superficial at best and only brings it down just a tad.
I agree.
Otherwise, this is classic shit that you definitely got to check out.
Hey guys, like and subscribe. Also hit that bell notification. And if you want to support the channel, we have a Patreon, we have a PayPal link, we have our Amazon affiliate link. Also, if you donate in any capacity to our channel, we will make a review for you on a topic that you request. Especially, you know, even if it doesn't interest us, we will review it. We will make an attempt at it. Mm-hmm. Corey has one in the hopper right now. He's almost done watching what show?
I don't want to say what it is.
Oh, you don't?
No, because it's like a surprise.
But the guy asked, and he knows it's coming.
I mean, he knows, but the other people don't know it's coming.
Okay. Well,
all right, fine. You want me to announce it right now?
Yeah.
All right. I'm getting ready to do a review of the first season of Katekyo Hitman Reborn.
Hitman Reborn. Great
Hitman
show.
Reborn, yep.
Corey's going to have some things to say about that. Also, we just want more content to come out of this channel, so we're just going to keep trying, guys. If it's coming down and just chatting in front of the camera for now and keeping the Nerdcast, the Powerful Nerdcast going, I'm cool with that for now. Mm-hmm. And just thanks so much for watching and your endless support. We love comments, even if it's that the show sucks. Like, tell us why you think the show sucks. Is it because we're two white cisgender males? Too bad. Is it because our content sucks? We can work on that. So anyway, really appreciate you guys watching. And do you have anything to say before we wrap it up, Corey?
No, I think that was a pretty good wrap up.